attempt to make what might be considered to be a small and definite point grew into creating a substantial organization, namely SAIL. And the point had to do with what is a concept. And there was a book by Bruner, Goodnow, and Austin called Concept Recognition or something like that. But the important thing about the book was its notion of concept, which was a Boolean combination of elementary concepts. That is, a concept could be an A and a B and a not C. And the examples that were given was that well, I don't remember any of the precise examples, except that they tended to be letters of the alphabet, which were a vertical line and a horizontal line and a curve, where elementary concepts were vertical line, horizontal line, and curve. And so this letter had, it did have a vertical line, a horizontal line, and so forth. And I said, well, that's not good enough, because with that vocabulary, while you could recognize the different letters of the alphabet from limited vocabulary, it would not permit you to draw a letter that you didn't know about. So I introduced the slogan description and not merely discrimination. And that was said that a concept would be something like a vertical line connected at its middle to a horizontal line segment going to the right, and a combination of that kind. And if you allow that vocabulary, then you can actually, by telling someone that over the telephone, you can draw the object of that given kind. So, and furthermore, can recognize objects that of new kinds that he hasn't heard that way. For example, he can recognize objects and of new kinds, and in trying to do that, then he can recognize objects seen by television cameras. And well, to demonstrate that, you need television cameras, so forth. And this suggested connecting television explicit policy at some point of throwing away and destroying proposals that were not funded. And the various government agencies have no policy. They have a policy, they destroy proposals whenever the office moves. From one building to another.
We've still got them in the archive.
Maybe. If the building that holds the archives moves. You have some of them. But anybody who wants to write a history of any branch of science would like a history of the proposals as to what the investigators hope to accomplish and what the government hoped to accomplish in funding them. And I remember reading a book called The Question of AI, which treated these questions by inventing what the investigators hoped to accomplish and what the government hoped to accomplish. And it was pure invention. Namely, the people who wrote the various chapters of this book were leftists, and they invented from a leftist point of view what these people must have been, must have had in mind. Okay, someday some proper histories of what the various proposals will be in these areas will be made. I think in certain kinds of sciences like physics, histories are already much better than in areas like computer science or artificial intelligence, or best of all in an area like astronomy that have enormous continuity, where there's a certain continuity between what people were trying to do 100 years ago and what they're trying to do today. But there certainly isn't such a continuity in anything like artificial intelligence. End of reminiscence.
Because people would probably want to talk to you.